money get paper. How you know we party hard later? Mr. Flex and Papa got the old city lock with the girls in each and every area. Sipping NFTs with no chaser.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where in the world you are joining me from. I am Alluminati, and this is the Crypto and Cognac podcast show, as always, powered by Alti.com, the one-click crypto wallet for Telegram, WhatsApp, and soon Discord. And as always, fueled by Hennessy TT. I'm having some VSOP tonight, right, in my gold Hennessy cup, and I am talking to an incredibly talented artist out of the Caribbean, Jamaica to be more specific, Mr. Bonito Thompson.
What's up? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Sitting here, hold on, just making a post on my personal that we are live. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. When you said you're making a post, I thought you mean you was rolling a spliff. So
No,
you look focused.
very much, yeah. I beat off and I ready.
Nice, man. So, for those people who don't know who Bonito Thompson is, usually I would ask my guests, to give me their crypto origin story, but I want to go even further back. I want you to tell us who Bonito Thompson is as compared to DADA JA.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. That's a very good question. You wanna know what's funny? I think I actually got the idea for Don Dada while I was in Trinidad. Yeah. So when was this? This was probably 2019 Carnival. I was there for 2019 Carnival, and a friend of mine,
great one.
No, the last one was 2020.
Not the last one, but that was a great one.
Yeah, that was a nice one. That was the year. Wait, name Savannah Grass just dropped. Yeah, that was when I fell in love with Carnival.
Nice.
But yeah, we were at the Hilton, and we were just on the balcony talking about the things that we want to do, because he's a fellow artist. We're talking about the things that we want to do and the ideas that we have. And right there, so I just got a feeling that I want to make a collection about dancehall culture, because I feel like that story, that narrative is kind of missing from a Jamaican perspective, especially in art,
Right.
So I think to answer the question, what's the difference between Bonito and Don Dada? Bonito is very quiet. Bonito is very reserved. Don Dada, on the other hand, is more out there, more loud, more vibrant. So in a way, I feel like it's probably a case where it's two different personalities coexisting.
Right.
So yeah, like Don Dada is about the culture, dancehall culture, Jamaican culture, and Bonito is more private.
All right. So how old are you?
28 right now.
All right. So when did you fall in love with art? At what point did you, maybe actively fall in love with dancehall culture? And how long between those things did it take you to realize, okay, this is one way that I want to express my art?
I born in love with art. It's not something that I discovered.
Right.
It did take me a while to commit to it though, because it's something that came so naturally to me. And growing up, I always heard artists don't really make no money. It's that concept of the starving artist type thing.
Yeah.
So the aim was to kind of get a stable job in a way. Right. And I did try that for a couple of years, but it wasn't fulfilling. I did have success in it, to this point where I was as a lead designer for a bunch of like big brands. I was lead designer for Campari for a number of years in
Right.
Jamaica and like 5 other markets in the Caribbean. Lead designer for Red Stripe for a couple of years, Reggae Sumfest, like a bunch of them. But I just never felt fulfilled within myself.
Right.
Um, and then I started like one day. I think I had a quarter life crisis when I was 24, going 25. No, like I serious, like it did lick my butt, like my chip did it just wasn't right. And um I did my first like real successful collection, which was passion fruit. And the place it like sold out. Like I came up with the idea, and then 2 weeks later I was having the show, you know?
Right.
And the place did a ram. And that was when it clicked to me that I have something different inside me, you know, and that there's something here that I should follow. And around the time, because I was an Oreo growing up, so I never really like, I was all about like rock and roll, bro. You know, so I
Love
kind,
it.
in a way, I kind of discovered dancehall around like maybe 2014 to like 2016 is when I really got into dancehall music.
Right.
I can tell you the first dancehall song that I ever like really loved was an Alkaline song, "My Side of the Story."
Right.
Right, you know, Mr. Brendan. Yeah. And then from there, so now, like, I really just like when I love something, I immerse myself in it. You know, so I
Right.
fully immersed myself in dancehall. I was watching all of the videos. I was trying to go to as many parties as possible. Like I want to go all of the parties, them, the uptown parties, them, the downtown parties, them. Want to see girl at skin out on a beat, pot cup, you know. And then because I'm also like getting into the stage of my life now where I want more than just like a regular 9 to 5.
Right.
I want to express my creative energy outside of my job. Um, so I kind of just fused the two, and that's how this collection came about, and that's how I really just kind of committed to my art, you
Right.
know. And from there, so it's really just been a case where I living by faith in a way, and I just following my creative energy, and I just trusting my own instincts, because it's a in a way it's a very it is a very personal journey still. It's really like me just observing the energies that's swirling inside me and then finding a creative outlet for that, and just putting it out into the world. And it's, like I'm actually just really grateful and very surprised to the level that people, can I curse?
Yeah, man.
To
I
the
bet.
level that people really fuck with my work. Like I never really expected this, because like I said, Bonita Thompson, the person, is very shy, very reserved, So it's really a case where through committing to my art, I'm also kind of discovering myself in a way, you know.
That's dope. And maybe that was the disconnect that you felt, creating in other people's images for in the corporate space, as compared to just being able to touch base with Bonito and feel that through your art.
Yeah, and it really got to a point where one day I just decided that I don't want to do this anymore, you know. And it was also, maybe it's kind of selfish, but I really just said that I want to build a life for myself where I can wake up and do whatever I want to do, and I can create the type of art that I want to make without thinking that, oh, the client not gonna like this because it's not the right shade of red. I just literally just doing me in every capacity.
Yeah. And people respond to that. I mean, like I told you before in our conversation, like your energy is just like infectious, and it's something that draws people in, even through your Instagram videos and that kind of thing. Like there's one video I mean, I think I have it, and I'll show it in a little bit. But I mean, just kind of referencing what you were talking about immersing yourself in your art and the music and how they feed off of each other. It was a clip where you were talking about your favorite song that you listen to while creating
Yeah,
Life Changes by Skeng, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just it was so authentic, that interaction between you and whoever was asking you the question.
Funny. 6 bars.
Yeah. So I mean, outside, is that still your creative inspiration song? Are there other songs that you um
Like I said, like when I like something, I really just rinse it. So at the point, that was one of the songs that I had on replay.
yeah.
But right now, for me, Joshi,
Was that?
Joshi.
Yeah.
So Joshi is one of my favorite artists right now still. So like I'll have all of his songs on replay.
Yeah.
And then there's this new dancehall artist named Marksman. All right,
Yeah.
he's I don't know how old he is, but this guy is still in school. Still yeah,
I think I may have seen some TikToks with him actually.
yeah, verified chopper. I want him biggest song, and then him have a new song named Top Coot. I rinse it. I actually so I'm working on a new collection. Um, and there's an artwork in that collection, and it named Verified, and it's actually inspired by Verified Chopper.
Shout out. Shout
Yeah,
out. I mean,
yeah.
maybe he'll come through and purchase it.
Yeah, or
Um,
like come and do a performance at the show, like that would be sick.
yo, that would be dope. I mean,
Yeah,
I wanna share a little bit of some of your art before we go on to the next stage of the conversation, and I want to share this iconic, I think.
No, we ain't giving no hold. I ain't Romeo and I'll hold. Making a party, chocolate Barbie, waiting on me for.
So that particular piece of art, the Ghetto Love Letter,
yeah,
is hands down my favorite piece in your collection.
awesome.
What inspired that particular piece?
So that piece came about last year. Was it last year? Probably early last year because the show was sometime last year. Early last year we were having this conversation. It was a very big like social conversation on the impact of dancehall on Jamaican society
Right.
and whether or not it influenced violence. Right. And so the piece itself was about that conversation because it's really just my interpretation of the whole thing as somebody who is fairly new to the dancehall space, like 2015, 2016 till now. Um, my view on it is that dancehall is really an outlet. It's the voice of the people, literally. And I literally, like, in doing this entire collection, I actually did a lot of research. Like I went back and I like look at the birth of dancehall, how it starts on the lane them, and how it started with like sound clash. People used to come and set up them speaker box and just hold a vibe and DJing on the mic, and then that developed into people actually like making songs on the mic and toast. So my view on it is that dancehall contributes to violence as much as the news contributes to violence. Because dancehall really tells you what is happening in real time.
Yeah.
And that's what that piece is about. This ghetto love letter, because dancehall is made by ghetto people,
Yeah.
and he's holding up a rose, as like an ode to dancehall. He's standing in a pool of water because they said no man is an island, but no, we're trying to criticize the music that we make. The music that literally show us who we are is a mirror. So that's really like what the piece is about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're speaking deep into my soul there. One of my favorite artists, very controversial, is Vibes Cartel.
Yeah.
And he has a song called Emergency,
We
where
are
he
around here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a social commentary on what is happening. You know, he talks about the fact that there's so much guns in Jamaica as we now have in Trinidad and Tobago, but yet the poor people, the ghetto people, don't run the docks and the ports and the areas in which the guns are coming into the country. So who's responsible? You know, we always want to blame the
Blame the
people.
artist, blame the person who met the song, but not like put in the actual work to make society better for people, give them other outcomes, like give them other avenues for them not to go this route. If
Yeah,
I'm on here and him not to work and him can't see any other way out, and I'm not saying that it's right,
yeah.
you know, but at the end of the day, like people are gonna do what them need for do for survive.
And at the end of the day, nobody's choosing that life. Like you give that person the option between, you know, being a successful business person and being a gangster, living where they live, running the kind of life that they live. They're not choosing that. So, you know, we have to understand that, you know, there are circumstances, and I appreciate that dancehall artists like calypsonians have done in our music, like hip hop artists doing, you know, that genre of music, tell the story of these
So,
communities.
yeah.
And you with your art, and artists like yourselves, you know, have the opportunity to tell stories in your art, and tell your own story, and also represent other people's stories who may not have a voice of their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit. I mean, we've talked a little bit about the ghetto love letter. Sorry. Tell me about some of the other um,
Pieces.
items in that collection, um, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about, you know, how your work moved from being strictly in the traditional space, um, moving into the AR space, then moving into the crypto blockchain space.
Yeah. Oh, it
Wait,
really drew a
before
lot of
before we
trans.
go there, what you drinking? What you drinking?
You
Because
know, I'm a little Appleton.
but you're lashing it hard, man.
We don't play over here. You need to catch up.
I need to. I need to.
I'm probably gonna have to make a next drink before this.
All right, all right. But go ahead. Tell me about the journey from the traditional space into the ARs, into augmented reality, into the NFT space, and
And
tell
just
me
where,
how the collection came about.
yeah. I think all of those transitions happened because I'm the type of person where I have to keep moving. If I stay in one space for too long, it's like I get tormented. So even though that I work from home, I
Yeah.
notice with myself I have to literally like keep changing up the positions in my apartment where I work. You know,
Cabin fever.
huh?
You're getting cabin fever.
In a way, but it happens with everything. Because I also feel like I'm just a naturally curious person. So I'm always like watching YouTube videos on different things that I can do. I'm always like researching how I can improve on what I did before. And then it's also a case where it's like my brain, if I do something and I pause for a minute, then my brain just start firing new ideas or different ways that I can spin it, you
Right.
know? So the work itself and the collection itself, I think that's why it kept changing, because I also felt like, because I actually had a show for this in 2019, I believe. That's when it launched,
Right.
right? But it was only 6 pieces.
Right.
Um, Actually, it was 5 pieces, and I felt like it wasn't done, you know. And that's where I did get this idea that I want to find a way to give the work movement or give it life. So there's a piece called Gal Segment. Um, there's a piece called Gal Segment, and in it, there's a girl that's bending over, and I paint her like 5 6 times in the motion. And my
Right.
thinking behind that is kind of like how you would do animation where you paint the frames back to back.
Right.
Um, and then I was like, there must be a way that you can actually like animate it, you know? So I did research and I find this thing called lenticular printing where like depending on how you look at it, you'll see it move, you know, or if you move the canvas, it gives that illusion of movement.
Right.
Yeah, but that never really like hit what I wanted to do. And just giving it time and just doing more research, I found this 6-minute video on YouTube, just 6 minutes, that showed you how to make augmented reality art for Instagram.
Right.
Yeah. So it's literally like you making a filter, literally making a filter. But they just show you how you can spin it. So it's more than just like a regular bunny ears or whatever. And yeah, I experimented with it and I saw that it worked. And once I figured out how to make it work, I just kept like playing around with it because I'm naturally curious and just finding different things that I can do with it, you know? And then once I figured out that it worked, I just applied that to everything in the collection. And that's how the AR aspect came about. And you know what's wild about it? Probably a day before the art show, I was still finalizing some of the artworks. So it could have, the show could have been like a massive flop. Could have been a massive flop. But yeah, I don't know. The universe, God, everything was on my side and it played out well. And then I think it's also a case where like it was just a matter of great timing because when the show happened, we had COVID. Yeah, that's a piece. When the show happened, we had COVID really, really bad. And we got like a little window open up where we could have events. And because I was planning for a while, the moment that we get the bus, I just run with it, you know? And then I don't know, the response, I could have never like anticipated that.
Right.
You know, like within like 3 days, because the show lasted for 5 days, it ran for a whole week and it was at 2 different locations. And within 3 days of me opening RSVPs, all of the every day was fully booked, you know? So I could have never like imagined that would have happened. And then because of how the work is itself, like NFTs that start blowing up around the same time, you know, Beeple's headline and everything else. And a bunch of persons are just like messaging my page like, yo, you should do NFTs, blah blah blah, you should do NFTs. And somebody from Miami showed me, Abba showed me, and he's just like, yo, he's actually a Jamaican in Miami. He's like, yo, you should do NFTs still. On Foundation, I can send you an invite. You know, I didn't send the invite, and I had the invite for a while, and I just never did nothing with it. You know, because the space, like, because it's so permanent, you know, I never want to rush into it and not fully understand what I'm doing. And again, like the universe just made it so that like a team naturally formed around me, you know, so like Reese and Alexia came around to really just help like make me strong in the areas that I did not know, you know. And from there, like the rest of it just played out like I don't know, I couldn't even plan like, for it.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you know, things just nothing happens before it's
time.
It's time, you know. I truly believe that you know it's not planned out, but you know, energy builds, and then it can't be suppressed any longer, and you know it just has to live the existence that it has to live.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have your foundation page running below there that people could go and check out some of your pieces. Unfortunately, guys, this guy don't have any art available to purchase on Foundation, right? It's sold out completely.
There you make a bid if you want.
but the people who are fans of your art, people who are the owners of your art, seem unwilling to part with it. Because I've tried, right? I've tried, and I'm gonna talk about it again because you know I don't want him to know that I want it that bad.
Yeah, no, the collectors are holding on, because even like there are a couple of persons who actually like message my Twitter page or just like,
Yeah.
yo, when you gonna drop new artwork because I want bid and nobody not letting go. So
Yeah, I mean, nobody is interested, it seems, in letting go any of the pieces. But I
mhm.
mean, I was asking you to talk about some of the other pieces. I mean, you told me um you're a guy, you're a fan. Well, you became a fan of uptown um events, downtown events. You like to see girls spread way. So you have a piece called Timeless that kind of speaks to that. Tell me some about some of the pieces and
All right, so timeless. Timeless is our next one now. Timeless. I think timeless is probably one of the more layered artworks that I have in terms of meaning.
right.
I call it time because there's two things. There's three elements in that artwork that really stood out. Is the grandmother and the young girl, that juxtaposition,
Right.
right? Um, they're both dancing on a street sign, and on the street sign you have Gully and Gaza,
Yep.
right? And then on the ground you also have PMP and JLP, all right?
No, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, yeah. There are lots of details in it, right? So if you look again, you go notice that on the ground you have PNP and
Yeah.
JLP, but the
They
colors,
are political parties, but the
yeah,
colors are
are flipped.
reversed.
Yeah, right. And that's to show that they're both the same, you know.
Mm.
And then it also shows that the impact that dancehall and politics have on Jamaican society is the same, and it's been the same from your grandmother days till now. So that's the meaning, or that's the thinking behind that piece while I was making it. and
Yo.
then, and then there's money like all over the artwork, because for me, dancehall culture has so much value. Like people come here, them learn the dances, then them carry go Europe and teach other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a connective element throughout all of the pieces. Like you'll either notice one of two things, either the crown or the zinc fence. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But I try to keep those elements as like unifying elements throughout: the crown, the money, and the zinc fence, and of course music. So you'll notice music elements throughout, because dancehall is music and it's culture.
So if I wasn't a fan of your art before, yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold.
This collection took 2 years to make, and this is why.
I get it. I get it. So how has this new collection evolved compared to that one? Do you feel like you have your voice a little bit stronger? Do you feel like the energy around what you want to say is this just a continuation, or is it a whole different messaging?
Yes and no for both. It's a continuation because I'm still playing with Jamaican culture. I
Right.
think with this new collection, what makes it different is that I kind of expanding outside of dancehall music, because all of these focus heavy on dancehall music, and are looking more at dancehall culture itself, just
Right.
like regular everyday life. Um, and this new collection that I'm working on is meant to be more of like social commentary.
Right.
So things that are happening right now, so you notice that like right now in dancehall, like chopper life is like the main thing. Like people are talking about, oh, my rich come live on the line like COVID. you know like I'm playing more with like this everyday type of energy. And I think the biggest thing that will set this collection apart, when I release it, you'll see my color palette. I also have a brand new color palette.
Mm.
I think what works for me really well, like I have a really good understanding of color. and how to use it and how to blend the color. So even though these artworks are very, very colorful, they don't feel
overwhelming.
Yeah, you know.
Do you think your time in the professional space and working with clients has helped with that, or is that just something that you kind of have innately?
It's a little bit of both in a way. I think having to work with clients and having to work within their constraints, it forces you to kind of fit the puzzle pieces together in different ways.
Right.
You know, for example, if you're working with a client and for them they believe that their brand is just red, then you're gonna have to find 101 different ways to use that red.
Right.
Yeah. So I think having to work within those constraints, I feel like my time as a graphic designer is like my Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi phase. Like
Wax on and soft.
yeah, and then when you get into the fighting ring, you realize that it works. You know, so now I really just like I also noticed that I kind of streamlining my creative approach a bit more, like how I would like the stages that I would go through to make an artwork from like concept to execution. You know, so now like I will literally start by like making my color palettes first, and I feel like this artwork that's right behind me is where it really started, because at the base of this artwork is the first one where I really showed my color palette, and then I noticed that people actually like seeing the colors that I use to make the piece. So from there, so now what I start doing is like I'll start like fitting different colors together, and then seeing how those colors feel together, how well they blend, like the saturation of the color versus this one over here, you know. And once I have a color palette that works well on its own, then I will find like strong imagery, you know, and layer those two together. My painting style also is evolving, and I kind of like that, you know.
Right,
So
right.
now I'm experimenting more with like my artwork is more fluid in a way, you know. So yeah, I'm actually, and I feel like it's just because I'm so excited about these new pieces. I'm actually like thinking about minting one or two of these artworks.
Give me a heads up. Give me a heads up.
Yeah, but like some of them are really like done already. You know, like I'm thinking about making it a 10 to 12 piece collection. And right now I finished 5 pieces. Of that 5, I'm comfortable with 3 of them, and I have concepts for the next 6. You know,
And you're gonna launch on Foundation again. Are you comfortable with Foundation as a platform? How do you view it compared to some of the other platforms for as a
there are 2 platforms that I personally really love. Foundation is one of them. Plus, with their latest update the other day, that they're dropping their commission from 15% to 5%.
Yep.
Hell yeah, you know. I love that. But outside of that, though, super rare. I well want to be on super rare. You know.
I mean,
So,
but that's the goal. That's the goal to get there.
yeah, you know. And I have 3 collections to drop this year. 2 of them are already completed, and I'm working on the 3rd one now.
Right.
So how I'm thinking about it is that it's a case where I can really just split them. You know, so I have 1 collection on Foundation now. I can drop another one on Foundation, and then drop the other 2 on Super Rare.
Right.
You know, and just see how they do.
Well, I mean, based on prior experience, it looks like they're gonna do very well. I just want you to speak on one other piece which I do really, really love, and that's the paper planes piece.
Yeah, that's the title piece for the collection, actually.
Because there are tons of elements here that I just want to hear your thought process through this. And previously I would not have asked, but after they explained
The other two.
the other two, I'm like, yo, I'm missing stuff there. So let me hear from him, from the guy himself.
Alright, so this one is really just me as an artist. But I feel like this piece is actually not finished in a way.
Mm,
Um, but at the same time, I do love it for what it is. You know? So the thinking behind this, and I feel like I did go more of just like a abstract route with it. But the thinking behind this, there was a plane that crashed. I don't remember where it crashed. Probably like Saint Elizabeth. I don't
yeah,
remember.
the
But
plane that crashed full of.
yeah, the plane just crashed to the cook. Skilly make the drop a song about it. So that's what really inspired this. And on the plane itself, on the tail of the plane, I put the Mexican emblem that they have on their flag
Right.
because it came from Mexico. That's what they're saying. So the whole plane itself is in the Mexican colors,
Yeah, yeah.
red, green, and white. On the wing of the plane, I put Dantings because if it's Coke, then that's real Dantings.
Right.
Um, and then I was just asking a hypothetical question because when the plane did crash, it was all over the news. And then they were saying how it looked like the plane was gutted and whatever was in the plane has now just been like absorbed into the community and police don't know nothing. So I was thinking like, what if the plane did crash in half a tree? You know, what would happen? So that's why there's the half a tree clock in the background.
Right.
Um, and then the street lights and thing, and then there are planes, there are paper planes that's flying out of it, and that would symbolize just like whatever was in this plane just kind of dispersed. You know, there are planes flying overhead, like it
Yeah.
just gone. What else is there?
There's
Yeah,
also something in the background.
yeah, that's half a tree. So it is the half a tree clock, and then there are some plazas next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was really the thinking behind this one. You know, like what if it crashed in half a tree? You know,
Right.
I probably maybe some point in the future I would revisit this and do a updated version of it.
Right.
But I do like it for what it is, and then I love with the AR to it now. I kind of add like hidden elements. So when
Right.
you scan it, like you'll see the plane exploding, you see the fire coming behind the plane, you see the paper planes themselves flying out of the water. Excuse me. And then it comes out in 3D space so you can actually like move around it. You
Right.
can walk past it and see behind the plane.
Right.
So it's
That's
really
cool.
yeah, that's really the thinking behind this one. But this one was actually the last piece that I did in the collection itself.
Hmm.
You know, and this is where the collection actually got its name.
So let me ask you a question. You said that you feel like this piece isn't really finished, and you might give it an update in the future and that kind of thing. But as an artist, right?
Mm.
How do you know when a piece is finished? Like, what is
It's,
that
a,
thing that you feel that?
it's just a feeling, is a level of satisfaction within yourself that like, yeah, I can't stop now. You know, like I don't know how else to put it. And I feel like what I've also noticed with myself is when I just started making art, I would get an image in my head of what I want to do. And then there would be a disconnect between the image in my head and what my hand puts on paper.
Right.
And now it's getting to a point where I'm starting to see that image clearer in my head. So it's like I literally just taking it from my brain and pulling it out.
Mm,
So to answer the question, it's really a case where like I'll see it in my head and I just translate that. I'll create it in real life. And that's how I know that it's done.
Right.
You know,
The closer you get to that mental image.
yeah, and sometimes it's not even an image. Sometimes it's just a vibe. It's just an energy. It's just a feeling, and you just know when it's done because it feels right. I don't know how else to put it. It just
Yeah.
feels right.
Understood. Understood. What is understood doesn't have to be said.
There you go. And that's the cool thing about it as well, because like when people see it, even if for me it doesn't feel complete, when they see it, they would, because I try to leave my work, and that's one of the reasons why I actually like haven't put any explanation to any of the pieces,
Right.
for because I want people when they see it to add to see the to add their own little piece of the story,
Yeah.
you know. So it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like I always say, I think that is one of the differences in like reading a story as a book and watching it as a movie.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times in the book you're forced to fit certain parts of it
In the
in
gap.
yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to fill those gaps yourself. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, no, this is not what it
It's
was
not
supposed to be. It's
yeah,
not.
not what
So,
I saw in my head.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I definitely see the value in that. A
Mhm.
question that I have, like I've seen there are a couple, stars who have collected your art over the years. Like Sean Paul has collected your art. I've seen that you've done some stuff with Magnum for the Magnum 20.
Mhm.
Is there anyone in particular, like if you see that this person posts that they just bought uh done that
What?
piece of art,
What?
gonna blow your mind, and you're gonna be like, yo,
I don't know.
yeah, me reach.
No, it's a. I don't know. I feel like if you had asked me that question a while back, I would have been able to give an answer. Um, who if they collected my work would like make me super excited? This is probably gonna be underwhelming, but there are there are a couple of artists, like actual like painters, artists
Right.
that I've drawn a lot of inspiration from, and I feel like I feel like if they should collect my work, that would just be it for me, because their work inspired me so much.
Wow.
Um, there's two of them that's coming to mind right now. There's an artist in Rome. Her name is Agnes Cecile. She's a watercolor painter. Um, but I think there was a point in my college days. I went to Edna Manley, um, where I was really starting to like explore watercolor paint, because she's a watercolor painter.
Right.
Um, and I learned how to do watercolor painting. I'm probably gonna post some of my watercolor painting soon. But I learned how to paint with watercolor just by like looking at her work and watching her speed paintings, because her work is just I don't know, I just love it, you know. Um, I don't even know I exist. But if she should ever like collect one of my pieces, that would be amazing. And there's another artist. He's local. We went to Edna together, but we were it's probably like a couple of years ahead of me, you know. So we weren't like at the school at the same time. But he's one of the artists that really kind of just opened my mind to what's possible with digital art, because
Right.
it's just over the past few years that like we really start to appreciate digital art. A couple of years ago,
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
a case where like the real like art world was just like, oh, it's not real art, you know.
Yo,
um
fringe.
yeah, it was on the fringes. um but with him, like his work was just sick. His name is Taj Francis. You guys should look him up. But
I'm
when I was
definitely.
yeah, yeah, when I was really like getting into digital art, when I made that transition from like watercolor painting over to digital, it was mostly from seeing what he did, you know? And then it's a case where I was just like, this is sick. And I'm going to find a way to do my own version, my own spin from this. You know, I'm going to experiment with this medium and see what I can do. And with both artists, what I noticed with them, because both of them have their own individual style, I think from my interpretation of it is a case where like they're really just staying true to themselves.
Yeah.
You know? So even though I kind of watch what they're doing and I learn the technique, I apply that with me being true to my own artistic expression. And then I also just try to make my work different, you know? And I think that's the best way to describe like what I'm doing. Like it's just different. It's its own thing, you know. But if either one of them should like show love, I'd be like, God damn.
You just kind of shouted out the college that you went to. Were you during college days? Were you involved in sports at all? I know it's like I know I'm a huge track and field fan. My grandfather is Jamaican, but I'm not really Jamaican. But I always think that if he stayed in Jamaica and I was fortunate enough to be born in Jamaica, I would have been a caliber man.
True blue JC.
Because you know, I mean I love the culture around track and field in Jamaica, like national champs.
You know, say in my final year of high school, because I went to Jamaica College, they made it mandatory that you can't graduate without doing a sport. So I did start the track and
I love that.
so I did start doing track and field. But for me, like if I can't say I ever really like committed to a sport in school. I was really good at cricket.
Right.
Yeah. I was very, very good at cricket. I did love cricket. I was actually like the captain of my primary school cricket team.
Right.
But cricket kind of boring for watch on a level still if it's not 2020. Yeah. Like the one day on the test match cricket.
You don't know, watch them guys get dressed in their all whites for 4 days.
No. 2020 cricket though, that nice.
Right.
Outside of that though, like football, you know, Barcelona is my side. I know we're going through.
Come off my thing.
Yeah, and I actually like start working those elements into like my new collection as well. So
right.
So there's a piece that I actually finished last night. And in it the guy's wearing a Barcelona jersey. But because I fell in love with the team from like early days, from like when Ronaldinho was
Right.
there and it was like just a start when him like 17, 18, you know? I feel like Dino is one of the greatest ballers to ever like touch the sport.
Probably most underrated. Like we always talk about the greats, and I feel like his name doesn't get mentioned enough.
Yeah. I feel like it's because him just towards the end of his career, he just fizzled.
I think he was just having fun with it. I mean, I feel like a lot of players aren't like how he went back to Brazil and played for a while, and he was like playing beach football and stuff like that. You know, he just kind of saw his love for the sport and not so caught up in, okay, this needs to be my brand.
Yeah. But no, especially now that football kind of changed, because now football is more tactical, the English way, you know, you zone and whatever. You don't really have that much flair. Like you'll never see a baller like Dino again. Like this man, I remember this match. It's like him there on the like what the fuck he call
Corner flag. My corner flag.
Yeah, not really a corner flag, but like the edge, you know, right to the edge. And a tree baller, they own him. And the man hug one, pile him. The next brother run come, him salad him, and then beat the third guy and run off. I'm just like, how you do that? how you do that? You know? So it's just like you'll never see that again. The most
Okay.
you see now is like a step over.
Yeah. I mean, one or two. I mean, maybe the only people who might be that brazen right now, maybe Neymar, might have a big enough ego. If somebody like foul him, he'll come back to try to do something disrespectful.
Yeah, that's a true. That's a true.
But nobody else really have that kind of killer competitive mentality anymore.
And when you think about it too, like you need a level of just like cockiness to do that. You know, especially like on the big stage.
Yeah.
And nobody don't want to like take that risk anymore. But yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit about your art. We drifted. We talked about football. But let me ask you a question. So you have your NFTs, right? So you're receiving payment for your art now in crypto, right? Are you somebody who is converting that back to fiat right away? Are you starting to dabble from an investment perspective in crypto on a whole, or you're gonna stick to art?
I want to get into collecting other artists' work.
Right.
To be honest with you, I've kept it all in crypto. I haven't touched it. To me, it don't exist right now. But yeah, the plan for that is really to reinvest it into other artists' work. You know, so right now, and more specifically, other Caribbean artists' work. You know.
Let me just shout out Anya, Wyatt, and they for what they're doing with the Caribbean NFT community. Like
exactly, a new platform, Island. You know, it's big. You know, so that's really what I'm looking towards. And when I think about it too, like I'm actually very grateful to be one of the first to actually like be at this position to have a sold out collection and be in the conversation with so many other amazing artists, you know. So the plan is really just to pay it forward because so many people have contributed to where I am right now. And I want to just make sure that other artists coming up can really just like get those same opportunities, you know. They even so like that's really where I'm looking to just reinvest it in the artists and reinvest it in future collections.
I mean, I love that Caribbean artists are coming into the space. I love that people like yourself are leading the way. That people like Anya, Wyatt, Nick, and they are creating a platform for other artists with Island, with Caribbean NFT, creating a community where you can ask questions. People asking, how do I get started? How do I set up a wallet? What is MetaMask? Is MetaMask the only one? If I want to get onto Tezos, how do I do that? Solana, because it's a big space, and it could be daunting. What's that?
And the space is forever evolving. So there's and what I love about it too, just like you touch on, is that it feels like a very safe space. You don't need to know these people. Once you see them online talking, like you can hop on the thread and ask you questions. You can DM them and I'm trying to do this, but I don't really know. Can you guide me? And they will give you that information.
Very collaborative, very, very collaborative space. I've worked in the corporate environment for almost 20 years, and I've worked with big organizations. I've worked on strategic planning initiatives. I've worked on complete rebrands, and I've never worked in an environment as collaborative as the crypto space. So when I got in, it was one of the most refreshing things for me. And like you kind of alluded to, it's so easy to access people. People who are huge in this space are one click, one DM away, and they respond. Everybody is super helpful, and everybody is aligned with the mission of growing this space.
Exactly. So it's beautiful, like what is happening in Web3.
Yeah.
You know.
So let me ask you a question, a separate question. You
Yeah.
said you're a big dancehall fan. I have to ask, are you at all, do you listen to Trinidad music at all?
Yeah.
If so, is there a Trinidad artist that you like,
Um, there are a couple of them, but the first one that came to mind, and because he started to cross over into our local dancehall space, is Prince Swanee.
Sonny,
You know,
Swan
yeah,
Dance? So,
yeah, catch too.
so you have your Life Changes by Skeng, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Swanee has a song called Radar, which
Mm,
is which is like one of my all-time favorite songs. It definitely puts me in a headspace to just keep pushing.
yeah, or even like from early back with Dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a minute still. So yeah, and then even like people like Boy
Yeah.
also like, on it. So yeah, like
So,
I
so
really love what is happening with how the music is just like expanding and different cultures are coming in and putting their own little spin on it. It's sick.
so you love Carnival,
Yeah,
you love Trinidad.
yeah.
Can we look forward to a Trini inspired collection from Dun? We're gonna we're
Yeah,
gonna we're gonna see a Dundada TT
yeah.
collection.
That might come sooner than you think.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Fly in
So
for the launch, we'll make that happen.
yeah, it's something that I'm actually like thinking about. So I'm actually going to put pen to paper and see what is possible. I don't want to say too much right now because it's kind of early days.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's something that I'm looking to make a reality very soon.
nice man. So we've actually been talking for almost an hour.
Whoa, time fly.
Time flies. So as we wrap, shout out anybody you want to shout out, plug your pages, your socials, anything that's coming up that you want to speak on. Do you think?
I want to thank my mom for giving birth to me. um Seriously though, I wanna thank like literally everybody that really helped me to get to this stage, because it's enough time where I don't know, I just don't know, you know and people just find me and just help, and just out of the kindness of them heart, just giving information, like Maurice, Alexia, like really helping with the NFT side of things that I'm just super grateful for. There are a bunch more people that contributed to me. I think I'm in a phase of my life right now where I am very conscious of the energies that are feeding into my life.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it's just to let the people know that like I am grateful.
Gratitude
What's
is a must.
Yeah, what is next for me? It's really a case where no, I'm looking to just maintain this momentum that I have going. Um, I've actually, so since I had the art show, I was able to quit my job, and really just focus on my art. It's been a weird little journey, but it's a journey that it'll work out still. Um, and now, especially since the collection is sold out, now I really had to take time to just process what's happening and just make a new roadmap for myself. So I kind of structuring it in two ways. There is the art aspect that's building off of the NFTs, and to find ways to just thank my collectors, because I really never had to buy.
Right.
They never had to support me. So I want to find ways to just provide as much value for them for just holding on to the pieces.
Yeah.
You know, and then further build out the Genesis collection some more. So like it's early days again, but I'm thinking about like taking the show on a tour. And then just like ideally I want to go all over America, Caribbean,
Yeah.
UK, and just have art shows. That is my personal goal.
Right.
The way how I'm trying to fuse that personal goal with providing value for my collectors. Um, Outside of that, I'm also looking at, because I'm also thinking about it from a business perspective. Because this tech that I'm doing, that I have in my art, the augmented reality aspect of it, and it's probably also because I have close to 10 years of experience in marketing.
Right.
So I'm fusing the two. So I actually have a strategy going forward that I plan to build out. Like I want to do more brand collaborations, you know, so like DADA and Pepsi, DADA and Red Bull, you know.
Speaking.
Yeah, and you mix that augmented reality tech, augmented reality experience, and you put that in marketing. You put that on trade, off trade, billboards, gondolas, you know, and you give that experience to the everyday person. So that's what I'm looking to do, you know. So I'm trying to reach out to as many like marketers that I know, brand managers, um, CEOs, and just say, hey, there's this idea.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's possible. It's a new way to interact with your clients. You know, I have this much experience, and this is what we can do together. You know, so those are the two things that I'm looking to do this year. Yeah.
That is dope. And I wish you all the success in the world. I mean, we definitely gonna stay in touch. Whether it's in the group, you need to touch down in Trinidad. When I touch yard, definitely have to link you.
Yeah, I definitely planning to be there, though, you know, because I see that to open up now and thinking about planning Carnival for
Yeah,
2020.
yeah.
You know, I want to be there for band launch. You know,
Right.
I want to be there for the road march. Like,
Mm.
yeah, already,
Nice,
already get
nice.
wild road.
Well, thank you again for taking some time out of your busy schedule, your busy day to spend some time with our community.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate you. Continue to be blessed, and we'll touch base soon.
All right, man. Respect. Thanks for having
Yes.
me.
Guys, that was Mr. Bonito Thompson, Dandada himself. Wow, what an amazing conversation. What an amazing story, guys. Thanks for being with me every Thursday evening. As I say every single week, adoption is inevitable. See you guys on the other side. Be good.